Supplemental math videos from Circle Christian School.
Coordinate plane notes. Watch out for those information words. Sometimes they, and that's the writers, are not really looking for an equation. It seems like maybe distance or perpendicular bisectors are more important. Treat these like word problems. Block and circle the important information, rewrite the information. Don't forget to label, 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 or what happens to that cake? You can ask Derek. It turns into smash cake. All right, I included in this a little bit about the absolute values. They look like some of the harder ones to go and do over the inequalities. You just have to remember that they have two answers. You have to isolate that condition, get the absolute value all by itself. One of the ones that's a little bit strange looking is when you have absolute value equals absolute value. Uh, just remember that the guy on the right-hand side here has a positive or negative binomial value here. So the absolute value would equal a positive 2x plus 1 or a negative 2x plus 1. Distribute that little negative there. You can also do it with the one on the left-hand side, but it's just easier to stay consistent this way. When you have to find the equation of a absolute value, notice that the x here is in between. So what you do is basically you look for the middle number because that's replacing 0 on a number line. It's just a shift to the absolute value here because things are being added and subtracted or multiplied to it. So you look for that middle number, and inside the absolute value, it's always going to be x minus that middle number. The less than, of course, tells you that it's in between, and then it's the distance from the middle, remembering that the 1 has replaced 0 on the number line for absolute value. Absolute value is the distance from 0. Whether you're jumping positive or you're jumping negative, there's this equal distance happening. So the equation here would be the absolute value of x minus 1 is less than and equal to the distance from the middle, which is a jump of 2. On coordinate planes, make sure that you're well versed in the forms and formulas. Just watch out for information words. Things that I kind of got a little caught on is I totally missed bisector altogether. But parallel, perpendicular, same slopes, just you really have to know these forms and formulas back and forth. Spend a little time studying your cards. Remember, it's only basically two forms. Your standard form, ax plus by equals c, and your slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. You got the cake in the box, and then you got a cupcake. And then there are just four formulas: slope, point slope, distance, and midpoint. Treat variables or letters when they use them for points there like a given number. That is, if the x looks like it might be at about 4, use a 4 and it'll give you a little bit of a pattern of what's going on. If the y looks like it's at 0, use that. In a lot of these, I saw that the lines were always going through 0, 0 or origin, even though they gave you 2 points on the line there, that a third point that you can use is 0, 0, especially if it's going through origin. Slope, they have that little delta y over the delta x. Delta means difference, so the difference of the y's or difference of the x. So far up and down, so far back and forth. With the inequality lines, a broken line is less than and greater than. Solid line has the little equal under it. Less thans shade down, start at the y and just go lower y's. Shade up for the greater thans. Couple little notes on some of the problems for number 3. That's where I had to watch out for the word perpendicular bisector. Bisector means you're cutting it right down the middle, so you have to think a bit about midpoint in this case. Number 4, I made way too hard, forgetting that the 2 lines were, the 2 points were going through 0, 0 or origin there, and that I could use that to have a slope equal a slope. Number 6, I totally forgot to look and check for distance, being same length equals same length. So I missed the fact that it was, 2 and 3, I think it is. Number 11, you just have to move the letters around here, remembering that H plus M is actually a Y value. Number 19, intercept. Even though the answers had x-intercept and y-intercept as possibilities, I really forgot to check for that when the other things weren't working. And there's that 0, 0 origin. I had to kind of remember that for grid in number 2. On the linear systems, you can opt to use graphing, substitution, or elimination. With inequalities, you can always put in 0, 0 to see what part is being shaded here. With 2 lines, find a good, easy coordinate to go and plug in. To find the equation of the line, use the point slope formula. You got 25 star bonus if you let me know what the 2 words are that should be in there. No solution cases have same slopes, they're parallel lines, and they end up with an answer something like 0 equals -5. The variables get canceled out. Infinitely many solutions result in 0 equals 0. Everything gets canceled out. So you have exactly, the same equation here. With these, really can't do too many notes. You have to just try the problems, try working out some of the strategies that we've already used. You're moving letters around most of the time, isolating for a letter, getting a letter by itself, so that's going to dictate a little bit of your setup here. And take a look at the answer, and really, if you get about anywhere between a third to a half of these correct on a first try, you're doing better than when we started at the first of the year.